بينا جميعا في الدور الثاني بدل يعني احنا النهارده على فكره عايزين نشكر CLT جدا، وان شاء الله لما تيجي كمان دكتور عزيزه تحديدا، لان هم بيعملوا يعني اطروحات عشان يقدروا يجوا يلتزموا بميعاد الورشه، لان هم ساعه بيدرسوا في التجمع الخامس وساعه بيدرسوا في الفلكي، يعني اليوم بتاعهم كله ضايع عشان موضوع الاونلاين تريننج ده. فهم معلش كان نفسهم ان هم يجوا يبقوا موجودين طول النهار ده، بس unfortunately هم الالتزام لازم يجوا على طول واخدين مناوبات علشان الفلك. فده الجدول، هتلاقوا الجدول. فاحنا هنبتدي بالبودكاستنج، وهو بيفتح افاق جديده لينا ممكن نستعملها وممكن ما نستعملهاش، لكن حلو ان نبقى عارفين انها موجوده. Thank you. So I'm here. I know some of you and some of you I've never met before, but for formal introductions, I'm Sandy Barsoum from the Center for Learning and Teaching. I'm the Instructional Multimedia Officer at the Center, and today I'm going to present to you podcasts. This workshop is aimed at podcasting and teaching and learning in general, not language teaching in particular, but as we start going through the workshop, you'll find that actually podcasting lends itself to language teaching. It's a very powerful tool, and I want you to think of ways as we go along the workshop of how you can make use of this tool to enhance your student learning. Okay? Actually, I'll sit down so I can navigate the computer, and I want you to participate as much as possible, even though it might be new for you, but we'll explore it together, okay? So the workshop objectives are introducing podcasts and podcasting. So what do these terms mean and how does it work? We're going to differentiate podcasting from other forms of media that you're used to. And we're going to go over some uses of podcasting and learning and teaching and what the benefits of these uses are. And then we're going to brainstorm potential uses in your own classrooms. And if we have time, we can explore things that are already out there. So I have an introductory activity. I want to know when you hear the term podcast or podcasting, does that speak to you? Have you heard this term before? If you have, raise your hand. Okay. Can you tell me what you think podcasting is?
والله انا بشوفه ساعتها في مثلا بفتح BBC او مونتي كارلو او المواقع اللي فيها الاذاعات العربيه، بلاقي مكتوب بودكاستنج، فتصوري اللي هي وسيله والطلاب قبل كده استخدموها بيقولوا لي او اللي انا فهمته انها وسيله انها ممكن تتحط على الايبود او الMP3 او الحاجات التكنولوجيه الحديثه الصغيره، ويعني بتحفظ وتبقى فايل مسموع.
Okay, most of what you said, actually all of what you said is correct. And I'll tell you how exactly it works and why it is that way. أي حد تاني سمع عن بودكاست أو podcasting؟ سمع يعني أو حابب يجس what it is.
It's like a potluck or pod dinner or something where you have all the information, you can get the information from it.
You have information definitely,
Yeah, of
course, but yeah, but it's very different.
Yes.
But actually it's a nice analogy. I like it. Okay, I also want to know what you expect out of this workshop, so I can tell you what we're actually going to be doing and what we're not. Any expectations?
Informative.
Okay.
Technology minded.
Okay, and it's not going to go into the details of how to actually do it. This is like workshop number 2, or we can sit with you one-on-one and see how you can implement that and how to learn how to do it. But today we're going to get an overview of what it is and how people are using it. Okay, we're going to watch a short video that kind of explains what podcasting is, and then I will ask you again and you tell me what you got out of this video.
Remember the good old days of TV and radio? Everyone would gather around to be entertained. Shows were broadcast at specific times, and if you weren't there on time, you missed it. Broadcasts disappeared into the ether. Well, things have changed. This is podcasting in plain English. Here's the big idea. Thanks to podcasting, show times don't matter. When a new show is created, podcasting gives you a way to capture it and take it with you to watch or listen to later, usually for free. It makes shows personal and available on demand. That's what makes it different from broadcasting. It works by setting up a connection between a website and a computer so that new shows automatically show up when available. Here are 3 reasons why podcasting is becoming so popular. The first is that anyone can do it. No satellites, radio towers, or studios needed. Most people only need a microphone or video camera, a computer, and a connection to the web. With these things in place, they can make their own show that is open to everyone. It also means that there's a wide variety of podcasts. Whether it's investment advice from Wall Street or your neighbor's gardening show from down the street, there's likely a podcast for you. The second is subscriptions. This means that if you visit a website that has a great podcast, you can click a button and subscribe to receive future shows automatically. All you need is a free tool called a podcatcher, like iTunes, that acts as a way to capture the shows. The shows become yours to listen to or watch as much as you want, where you want. The third reason is gadgetry. You can download a podcast onto a computer, but you can also download it to an MP3 player or other portable device and take it with you. And remember, podcasts work on all sorts of devices, not just iPods. So, let's look at how Jason uses podcasts. He uses the web every day, rides the bus to work, and loves Japanese culture. Recently, he found a podcast by a Western couple living in Tokyo. After a quick listen, he subscribed to their podcast from their website. That night, as he slept, a new show downloaded onto his MP3 player. The next morning, he was on the bus, listening to his new friends in Tokyo, imagining what it would be like to eat the freshest sushi in the world. Podcasting made it happen. It made it possible for the couple in Japan to create a show for only a few yen. It made it possible for Jason to subscribe to their show and take it with him. Podcasting means we don't have to depend on traditional media. Now, everyone can have a voice that shows their true colors. I'm Lee Lefevre, and this has been Podcasting in Plain English.
Okay. So, do you have a better idea of what podcasting is? Can someone kind of summarize what has been said in the video?
Not me.
Not you, okay.
أول معلومة هو أوصل.
لا
إن البرودكاستنج يعني زي عكس البودكاستنج أو يعني كنت واخدة من بود من برود
What يعني
More limited.
It's
more limited.
Actually, it's not more limited.
It's not limited. It's movable more, but it's for a special audience.
Of course.
Yani it's like little مثلا website you want to, you know, it's really amazing, the idea.
Okay, anyone from the back? Just tell me whatever you got from the video.
طبعا يعني البودكاستنج يعني هو يعني لكن البودكاستنج تسلي في الوقت وتسمع في الوقت في المكان.
So it allows us more flexibility than broadcasting.
Exactly.
With broadcasting, if you've missed the show, you can't listen to it anymore. Okay. So podcasting is actually a means to publish or broadcast, okay, audio or video files, but in this presentation we're focusing more on audio because it's simpler and it's more available over the web. And what differentiates podcasting from other types of media is that they're normally a series of episodes of a show or a series of episodes that have a common theme. Another very important thing about podcasting is the RSS feed file that comes with the podcasting. So you RSS feed, and I'll explain what that is. Okay, so you create an audio file like we saw in the video, and you push it to the whole world, and people subscribe to their show, to your show, and they listen to it whenever they want, wherever they want. However, what enables them to subscribe to your show is something called an RSS feed, and it just allows them to subscribe, okay? So you don't have to email every single person the file. You just publish it, put it out there, and they can subscribe. And whenever you create a new file, they can listen to it.
So is the RSS feed a button, a software, or what? Is something we need to do? Or?
No, you won't need to do it because you'll come to CLT and it'll take care of it. Okay, so this is podcasting. Okay. Yeah, you don't have to worry about how you're actually going to record, put it online. I just want you to understand how it works, because once you understand how it works, you can start thinking of how you can use it. If the technology is seamless, it's very easy, and someone is taking care of the technology for you. Okay, so podcasting is the act of publishing. Podcasts are the actual series or episodes that you put out there. So how does it work? And that's what we'll probably be helping you with at CLT. The author creates and edits an audio file. They publish it to a server. And then these are your students, okay, the end user. They subscribe to your podcast, so every single time you create a file, it automatically goes to their computer. And it downloads automatically if they have an internet connection. And also if they have a phone, they can push whatever they downloaded on their computer to their phone. So it doesn't have to be an iPhone. It's just
Any phone and mobile or
any phone, but it's a new phone, 3G.
something, the new technology
Yeah.
or not the old one.
And the new phones allow you to subscribe through the phone because they have 3G. The older phones, you have to connect them to the computer and put the file from the computer onto your phone. But the beauty of it is that you don't have to go check, did they post something new? Did they post something new? If something new is posted, it automatically goes to your computer once you subscribe. Okay?
كلمة subscribe يعني أبقى مشترك بالعربي مش كده
مشترك يعني انت تختاري البودكاست اللي انت عايزه تعملي تسمعيه تشتركي فيه فكل ما
اشترك ازاي يعني؟
كليك ذا بutton subscribe
Just like
وهو يعني you can subscribe فمثلا هيروح لك على iTunes or whatever, and this is the technical part where we can set it up for. يعني it's very easy. Some podcasts are not for free, but there are tons and tons of podcasts for free because everyone can create a podcast. Okay?
ممكن اقرب الفكره شويه بالفكره بتاعت الاخبار اللي هم معموله على الموبايلات دلوقتي انت اصلا انت بتعملي انوجريتد او سبسكرايب يعني في المكان ده كل الاخبار about مثلا المصر الكبير او الاخبار عن السلالة نفس القضيه.
Okay, so what's the difference between podcasting and other audio files that are used? The main difference is how the podcasts are delivered to your audience. With podcasting, the feed, the RSS feed, this technical thing, allows your students to subscribe and get the latest updates. Another major thing is that podcasts are regularly updated. So with an audio file, you send it once and you forget about it. But if you go into the hassle of setting up a podcast, think of it as you're setting up a show or a channel for you to always keep communicating. And typically the channel would have one theme, or your theme could be teaching listening, teaching speaking. You want your students to hear how the words are being articulated, how the pronunciation goes, and so forth. So it's not something that you go into the hassle of doing if you're only going to do one recording. But if you're going to use it semester long, then it's worth it. And there are three main benefits. The first is that it's mobile, so they can listen or watch it anywhere. They can at their own convenience, listen to it whenever they want. So even if you recorded it at 6 a.m., they can watch it at 11. And it's easy to download and free. So on their side, there isn't any technical hassle. They just subscribe and they get it downloaded. Now let's situate podcasts in learning and teaching. So there are three main kinds of podcasts in the educational area. some podcasts are teacher created, some are student created, and some are already out there, like the BBC, for example. These you have not created, but they're out there and they're great resources for you to use in your classrooms. So I want you to help me come up with what teacher created podcasts could be like. يعني ليه ممكن المدرس يعمل teacher created podcast؟ ايه example؟
إيمان عندها الحل للكلمة دي. أنا عارفة إن كنتوا عاملين في محطة كاسة أو حاجة، يعني قلت يعني كذا مرة
student create مش teacher create.
وفي teacher created هنشوف
teacher created زي محطة كاسة اللي هي
I'm thinking about the listening actually, what we're doing listening. I think it would be really good, especially for beginner students, if we register for them, for example, a text they need to, for pronunciation in our voice, so they can practice, they can listen to it and they can practice. I think this is what I would use it for, beginner students.
I think كمان teacher created احنا ممكن نكون بنعمل يعني لو بنبص على الأخطاء طول الأسبوع النحوية وشايفين إن القواعد واقعة من الطلاب وعايزة شرح، ممكن نكون بنسجل series of explanations تبقى موجودة للطلاب إن هم يسمعوها وقت ما يحبوا عن مثلا المقول اللي قبله أو استخداماته أو أي حاجة ويحطها يعني as a presentation and save class time.
وتصحيح النطق نفسه وتصحيح النطق الطالب يستمع يعني بالكتاب أحيانا أو يسمع أكثر من مرة.
كل اللي اتقال صح؟ أنا will show you how other people have.
أنا أقدر أخش على لو عندي student creative class أقدر أخش عليه وأعمل فيه correction. لا correction.
Audio correction. You can create your own podcast as a feedback mechanism, as an audio feedback mechanism. So it is actually one of the ways.
ما يقدرش يقطع الطالب ويدخل صوت.
If you want, you can download their episode, edit it, and re-post it.
وهل في ممكن فرصة إن الطالب يسمع نفسه؟
Of course, because it's recorded. So once they record their assignment, okay, and this will cover more in the student created podcasts, okay. But
practice يعني هو
ويسمعوا لأن هو سجل.
لا هو سمع بصوته وبعدين هو هيسجله بصوته عشان يسمع أخطاءه.
بالظبط يعني. Okay. So the first thing, you can create and distribute lectures. You can record the lecture and keep it as an archive. So students will go home and re-listen to what happened in class. You can record special events or outside speakers. So maybe you went to Saia and you attended a very nice event and you wish your students were there for the cultural exposure or for whatever, or you had the privilege of sitting with an important person, you can record that and make it available for your students. You can record subject expert interviews, and these can also be used in your cultural events. When you have someone come and speak to your students, you can record this and make this available online for them, and then you can have discussion related to it in class. You can provide, you can provide group feedback on assignments, and that's kind of what Nina and Said were talking about. Is that you can correct their assignments and orally record it and send it to them, or actually publish it and they will subscribe. You can, and this is very important because it allows more active learning, which is deliver supplementary material before class and after class. So if before they come to class, you can send them the vocab, or choose a piece of news that is using all the vocab you're teaching, and you can send it ahead of time for them to listen to, and then you come and cover the vocab in class. Post podcasts, find another TV show, and you send it to them after class so they can listen to how the vocabulary is being used in a totally different context, for example. And there are several benefits to using podcasts that way. First of all, it's an effective way of interacting with your students outside the traditional classroom mode. Because after they leave, they can't hear you anymore. But if you're constantly reaching them through podcasts, they have a lot of time where they can, because they don't have to be home. Traffic is really bad in Cairo, so if they're in the car or in the metro, they can listen to whatever you say. It also meets the needs of the diverse student body. So they have different aptitudes and they also have different learning styles. So if you have the material available, you can have like very advanced material for the advanced students so they can catch up, or the slow learners, they can catch up. So it depends on your classroom and how you decide to use it. And you can provide, of course, makeup lectures to students who were absent if you report yourself in the classroom. And this is the supplementary existing material, a great resource for your students. And of course, the ability for them to replay and review information helps them embed lessons in their memory. So this is what you were mentioning, the CASA Egypt station. It's a teacher-created podcast example. So they created this website, and this is actually a bit more than just a podcast, but it has the podcast feature embedded in it. They've selected all sorts of resources, movies, أمثال شعبية, أغاني, قصص, all this, and it's audio, and it's a great resource for you, so you don't have to search Google from scratch. You can go there, find what you want, and ask your students to subscribe. And I'll show you the subscription thing. So in iTunes, you ask your students to open iTunes, go to podcasts, type CASA Egypt, and they have محطة CASA Masr, a description, and then the subscribe for free button. Okay? And they can, before they subscribe, they can preview. So they can click here and listen, or they subscribe, and whenever you post something new on the website, this list gets updated and the latest episode gets downloaded automatically on their computers. Okay? Okay, let me show you.
ده اللي عاملينه
ده البلوج بتاعي.
I just
فيها جزء.
Okay.
You can.
So this is iTunes. Okay, it's a software. It's really
كده iTunes ممكن نشرح ايه هو iTunes بسرعة؟
Okay, iTunes is a software that does a lot of things. Okay, so it's a music player. زي music player يعني زي game player زي Windows Media Player, but it's created by Apple. يعني anyone that has an iPhone, they have to download iTunes. If you don't have an iPhone, which I don't, I still download iTunes to listen to my music and to subscribe to podcasts. If I use it to subscribe to podcasts, iTunes becomes a podcatcher. It catches the pods, okay, that are out there. So أنا هروح عند الحتة اللي بتقول لي podcasts.
دي فين بقى؟
في iTunes عليها. iTunes Store، رحت iTunes Store الزرقاء دي. يعني ده سوفت وير هنداونلوده وهنلاقي فيه بالظبط اللي أنا بدوس عليه. iTunes Store podcasts. هو بيروح الستور بتاع البودكاست عشان يخليني أدور. أنا عارفة أنا بدور على إيه، أنتوا ممكن تدوروا عامة تشوفوا إيه اللي موجود out there، أو لو أنتوا يعني targeting حاجة معينة، أنا هكتب كاسة إيجيبت. هدوس أنتر. هو بيدور على إيه اللي فيه keyword كاسة إيجيبت. فلقينا محطة كاسة مصر. هدوس سبسكرايب. قبل ما سبسكرايب ممكن تطلع أي كلام فهسمع.
القطة السوداء. خالد طول عمره بيتشائم قوي من القطط السوداء.
بتشائم القطة السوداء، عايزة ستودنتس يسمعها والقصص دي، فهدوس سبسكرايب أو هقول للستودنتس بتوعي انتوا سبسكرايب. فار يو ونت تو، هو بيسألني أنت كده عايزة تسبسكرايب؟ هقول له سبسكرايب. فهو اللي هيعمله دلوقتي إنه هيقاد زي كأنه هيحطها بوك مارك. هيقول له أول ما بتوع محطة كاسة مصر يببلشوا نيو فايل على طول أنت هاته وحطه على الكمبيوتر، وده اللي الستودنت بتاعكم هيعمله. سواء انتوا هتكونتريبيوتوا لمحطة كاس مصر او هتكتبوا بودكاست فروم سكراتش ليه ثيم تاني خالص هتعملوه، هتطلبوا من الطالب انه يسبسكرايب.
عندي سؤال السبسكرايب اللي بعمله ده للماتيريال اللي انا سمعتها بس ولا لكل النيو ماتيريالز؟
لا، انت وانس عملت اشتراك اي حاجه جديده بتوع محطة كاس مصر هيحطوها هتبقى
على يجيبوا بيها منين اعرف بيها؟
لا، بتخش اي تيونز هتلاقيها داونلود. اشتغل على البي سي مش اي مشكله. انت هتداونلود بس الماك فيرجن ولا الويندوز فيرجن؟ يعني لو انت بتستخدم ويندوز كمبيوتر هتداونلود بتاع ويندوز، بتستخدم ماك هتداونلود بتاع ماك. وبعدين هو في سوفت ويرز كتيره قوي بتعمل حكايه البودكاتشر دي، انها بتكاتشر بودكاست، بس ايتونز از ذا موست بوبيلر وان.
بس ممكن اسال سؤال مش عارفه اذا كان لما نرجع لمحطة كاس، ايه الفرق بينها وبين ويب سايت؟
اوكي، الفرق هي فكره الار اس اس فيد، ان انت في ويب سايت عاديه انت هتحطي له الاوديو فايل بس هي كانت سبسكرايب، فلما كل مره لازم هو يخش الويب سايت يشوف انت حطيتي حاجه جديده، لا ما حطيتش، يمشي انت حطيت حاجه جديده. لكن فكره محطه كذا مصر ان هم مستخدمين فكره الار اس اس فيد. الفيتشر دي ممكن تعمليها بكذا طريقه، هي you can cover at a later stage، بس once you have this subscribe button هو هيشترك في المحطة بتاعتك ومش هيبص، مش لازم يخش. انت بقى عايزاه يخش على الويب سايت عشان يسيب كومنت مثلا written، you can ask him to do that، بس هيعرف منين ان انت مثلا حطيتي حاجة جديدة؟ هتجيله على طول في ايتونز. قدام سؤال؟
افضل يعني معنى كده ان انا بعمل سبسكريبشن انا ممكن اشيك عندي بقى في الكمبيوتر كل شويه اتاكد ان هو ضاف لي ماده
بالظبط. ويعني
اول ما تفتح الكمبيوتر هتلاقيها، اول ما تفتح
يعني هو مثلا
بينزلها مش انت.
او بينزلها انا بقى اشيك كل شويه.
شوفي واتس
بصي شايفه انا مكتوب عندي هنا 1 جنب ده الايتونز بلاير بتاعي مكتوب 1، مش عارفه شايفينه ولا لا. 1 دي معناها there is one new podcast that I have not that has been downloaded to my computer and I have not listened to. فهروح الاقي ان انا في بي بي سي اكسترا مشتركه بكذا واحده ثانيه، طب في 1 ابيسود هقول بلاي سيلكتد
عمل حادثه وخبط قطه
فرجعنا
العربيه على
القطه صوت
طلب الصوت صاحبه
عملتيها شغاله.
اوكي.
ده كان اساتذه العاميه عملوها في الصيف وكانوا بيدخلوا
وفي امثال شعبيه. يعني طبعا ممكن انتوا تقولوا للطالب يخش على الموقع نفسه، بس ممكن يسبسكرايب، يعني this is the added feature. اوكي، عشان يلسن any time anywhere، مش لازم يبقى حتى connected على الانترنت anymore. يعني it gets downloaded لما هو يبقى هنا في القسم وما يروح يسمع. دلوقتي عايزين نشوف ايه ال types of student created podcasts. حد كان اوريدي اقترح حاجه ان الطالب يسجل نفسه وهو بيتكلم. ايه اقتراحات تانية؟ ممكن نبقى محتاجين فيها الطالب هو اللي يسجل.
يعني انترفيو مثلا لو تعمليها تقولوا مثلا اعمل انترفيو مع واحد مصري، ممكن مثلا
بالظبط.
عملنا تمثيليه مره وسجلناها، كمان ممكن يعملوها ويبعتوها لبعض.
بالظبط، فكل الناس تسمعها. عندك اقتراح؟